Immediately convene as the Common Council and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Please call the roll.
Alderman Strelchak? Here. Alderman Talaco? Here. Alderman Meyer? Here. Alderman Hancher?
Here.
Alderman Bach?
Here.
Alderman Parrish?
Here.
Alderman Bratt?
Here.
Alderman Gebhardt? Here. And Mayor Nervin.
Here. We have two public hearings this evening, the first of which is Ordinance 2026-1691, an ordinance approving the rezoning of a 35.5-acre parcel located at 997 Lakefield Road in the town of Grafton from the town of Grafton's A1 prime agricultural zoning classification to the town of Grafton's A2 agricultural zoning classification and R3 urban single-family residential zoning class to allow for a 1-acre parcel and approximately 34.5-acre parcel located within the city of Mequon's extraterritorial zoning area. This was recommended by the Joint Extraterritorial Zoning Committee on April 27th and was a first reading at last month's Common Council meeting on May 12th. Is there a motion to go into public hearing?
Move to go into public hearing. Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor of public hearing, entering public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now in public hearing. Is there anyone here this evening who wishes to speak on this matter that's before us? Hearing and seeing none, is there a motion to close public hearing?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor of closing, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are back in regular session and will immediately consider the ordinance before us. Are there any questions for staff? This is the one where the 1-acre home was getting broken off from the farm. Hearing and seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion needed? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Alderman Strelchak?
Aye.
Alderman Talaco? Aye. Alderman Meyer? Aye. Alderman Hancher?
Aye.
Alderman Bach?
Aye.
Alderman Parrish?
Aye.
Alderman Bratt?
Aye.
Alderman Gebhardt?
That ordinance is approved. The second item, which is before us for a public hearing, is ordinance 2026-1692. An ordinance approving the rezoning of the property located at 1306 West Pioneer Road in the town of Grafton from town of Grafton's A1 prime agricultural and A2 agricultural/rural residential requiring 20-acre minimum lot size zoning classes to the town of Grafton's R3 urban single-family residential zoning class to allow and approve a 112 single-family lot subdivision within the city of Mequon's extraterritorial zoning area. This was recommended by the Joint Extraterritorial Zoning Committee on April 27th and was the first reading at last month's Common Council meeting on May 12th. Is there a motion to enter public hearing?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor of entering public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now in public hearing. Is there anyone here this evening who wishes to speak on this item before the council? Hearing and seeing none.
public hearing.
There's a motion to close. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor of closing public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This is back before us. Maybe staff should remind us what came out of Jetsco, just for clarity.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Jetsco voted on this on April 27th. The vote was 4-2. The two dissenting votes were really related to a conversation that the Jetsco committee members had about allowing for holding tanks if there were conditions on individual sites that did not perk and did not allow for a conventional or a mound system. And that is something that is allowed in the town of Grafton. The city of Mequon does not allow that unless it's a pre-platted lot and you prove that you cannot get a private system to otherwise work. So a representative from Grafton was asking the Jetsco to, not prohibit the use of holding tanks, but the Jetsco committee decided to make sure that that was still a condition of the rezoning. And essentially, the Jetsco committee believed that because the development proposal had made some modifications from the time that the Common Council had viewed this, but mostly because it had complied with the Uleo Creek residential zoning district that we have implemented for single-family development along our Port Washington Road corridor, the Jetsco members felt comfortable with the amenities in terms of the amount of open space, the perimeter open space, the overall lot sizes, and the overall density achieved. And then in addition to that, they were able to the developers did provide a larger open space area along Pioneer Road, which is consistent with the city of Mequon's open space requirement. In our rural areas, we have typically asked for a larger open space vista along those rural roadways to create a little bit more of an open space kind of agricultural feel. And you can see on the updated concept plan before you that you do have that increased buffer at that south end along Pioneer. The project does include 2 access points, one at Lakefield and then again one at Pioneer. So generally, the Jetsco committee, felt because of consistency with the Uleo Creek residential zoning that they were comfortable and voted to support.
Thank you for the little bit of an overview and
Sure.
talk about what happened between then and now. So open it up to the floor for comments, questions for staff. Alderman Strelchak.
Can you call out the approximate lot sizes and actual acreage versus square feet as it was listed?
Sure. So the lot sizes range between about 30,100 square feet. So that's about 0.7 acres to about a little bit over 90,000 square feet on some of the lots. The average density is about 1.65 acres per lot throughout the whole subdivision, and we're talking about 112 lots on 185 acres. The amount of open space that's, for example, required in the Uleo Creek residential zoning district is 30%, and this proposal achieves that at 31%. We also require a buffer of a minimum of 30 feet throughout the site, and this proposal, this concept plan, does comply with that as well.
Where did the discussion go on the holding tanks? Because we don't allow those in our city, and we're comparing apples to apples on our zoning versus theirs to allow for a more dense something that I would have agreed to had I was sitting on the Jetsco Commission. I mean, I think using Uleo Creek as an example isn't necessarily, a good example because, yeah, it's south of there and it's a space within Mequon, but you're pulling a random sample. This is, we're zoned 5 acres just south of there, right?
Yep.
My HOA is 5 acres. Everything else is 5 acre density, just west of there. And, I thought Alderman Parrish's 2.5 acre was more appropriate density versus the 1.6. And then we've got lot sizes under an acre. And then we've got an allowance for holding tanks. And my premise for holding tanks is, if I'm buying a new home, and I used to be in real estate, so I've seen kind of the trend in where people kind of have a pulse for things. If I'm buying a new home and it's got a holding tank versus septic, I'm not going to choose the holding tank one. So it devalues those homes.
Right. The holding tank provision is not within the conditions of the approval. So
Okay,
Jetsco upheld the requirement that you cannot utilize a holding tank.
I just wanted to
And
make
so
sure we were
as
on
they,
board with
as they move forward in the process, if some of these lots are not able to provide for, your typical systems, they would not be able to rely on a holding tank.
Yeah,
And that's why I said the vote was 4-2. So one of those votes, that was, one of the two votes was because they still wanted to provide for the opportunity to have the holding tank.
Okay.
And that didn't pass.
Can you explain again the city's position on holding tanks? We won't allow them unless it's a pre-platted lot that doesn't perk?
Yes, you would, the lot would already have to have been platted. So meaning it's at a lot that's been in existence. A lot that's been in existence, municipalities typically want to allow for development on that pre-platted lot. It's been in existence. It's been assumed that you can build on it. People buy it assumed that you can build on it. And so that's the only scenario in which we're going to allow a holding tank. And you still have to go through the process to prove that a conventional system is not able to work on that property.
Here is they aren't pre-platted yet because the zoning hasn't changed, but
Yeah.
it's,
Right.
And we had a circumstance exactly like this with the development that came forward at Pioneer and Port on that southwest corner. There was a commercial development proposed, and we had to work through that scenario with them. In that case, there was a portion of the site that was already pre-platted. It wasn't actually where the commercial development was happening, but we were just trying to prospectively address what could happen with the remaining parcel.
Yeah, and I'm just going to make one more quick comment and then pass it on. So I was on Planning Commission when this originally came forward, and I'm glad to see that it's at least moved closer into the direction in which, fits more of the pulse. The buffer looks like it was increased along Pioneer Road, and my concern was with the Saddlebrook Farms subdivision. They built with the understanding that things were at least, going to be a larger acreage around them. So this stays a little more true to what they were promised when they invested in our community. I'm still struggling with the smaller lot sizes, and I'll wait to hear what my other commissioners have to say before I decide which way I want to vote on this one. But thanks for the committee for getting together and vetting this with Jetsco, and thank you for all the hard work that's gone into this. And I appreciate the hard look at this and the collaboration across communities. So with that, I'll yield. Thank you.
Alderman Parrish.
Thank you. Just to add to the why were the two naysayers, it was also about density. And again, the JETCO committee is just like a random 5-person grouping out of Planning Commission. They were nice volunteers. I did express some of the concerns that subsequently ended up in the memo, which is in the packet in case anyone is trying to follow along what we're proposing. But I did just wanted to give a quick preamble, and if you could, Natalie, please pull up the Uleo Creek zoning map page. A lot of work went into this corridor, and to make it into what it hopefully will become with a lot of residential standards and so on. We'll come back to these on the image. So yeah, right here. This is good. So there's a lot of work. Alderman Bach was on this committee, and we really vetted this. And it's important to note that we really want to support the town of Grafton. We're not looking to, we want this project to happen very much for them. We realize it's important for their tax base. They have a reputable developer. The reality is they probably looked in Uleo Creek. And again, the major difference is that we either require a deferral when the development passes by, or they have to hook in. And for any future developments that come along in Uleo Creek, I'm very inclined to never grant a deferral. Like, there would have to be a really good case why someone would be wanting a deferral. So anyways, Newman probably experienced that and then smartly went and looked in Grafton, and it's a beautiful piece of land with a lot of natural features. In fact, very similar to what you see in the orange zoning in the bottom left corner of Uleo Creek. That area is not all on sewer and water. It's closer to the river. The proposed development, if you were to just follow your eyes all the way up from the orange, you go through Saddlebrook Farms and then you end up in the proposed development. So this particular stretch is very environmentally sensitive. So the 1 acre or less zoning is what you're seeing in yellow. The 2.5 acre is what we have for not on, well, I could be wrong. Is that on city water, Kim? The 2.5 acres? I don't think it is. Yeah, the orange. Yeah, that's not on city water or sewer.
No, no,
So,
and there's, yeah, go ahead.
what
Any of
essentially
it is
we're
north
trying,
of Columbia St. Mary's or Sauria Ascension at the time.
yeah,
Yeah, it stops,
yeah.
stops at the hospital with,
So we're simply just, we're recognizing, and if you were to go up 1 or 2 pages, we were able to pull some, yep, this arrow diagram right here. This shows what happens. So imagine 110 homes on this site, and all the arrows show the topography for drainage. And so off to the right, you see a little label, that's the Uleo Creek. So all the arrows are kind of working their way bottom right. So everything's kind of slowly draining its way to Uleo Creek. Not necessarily into Saddlebrook Farms, but into the creek itself. Or off to the left, you see the arrows kind of starting to work their way towards the river. And it's, again, this is that area that's really environmentally sensitive. The other main concern I had was precedent, and Mequon has some really amazing standards for development that we should be proud of. And every time we say no or have standard, it's very natural for developers to just go look over the border. So I think that how we handle this now sets precedent for every single development that gets proposed for our border in the future, especially with housing density and how it connects to utilities. So the developer, in my memo, I did encourage the developer to explore a discussion with the city of Mequon about water connection, because as you may recall, our goal is to bring water down the entire corridor. And I see this as a huge potential customer for our city water utility. They would essentially be reimbursed. We'd have to look at our policy, but if they were to bring water down the corridor, they would essentially be reimbursed as development was happening, as people were hooking in. Perhaps we could assist them with some of the costs up front, because it is nearly $2 million to bring water down this corridor. It would make their homes substantially more valuable to be on municipal water, and it would also, obviously draw less from the aquifer. I assume the developer would not want to modify their plans. I just wanted to publicly state I would be in favor of that, and I view this as kind of our one last chance to maybe provide some service for a water utility to the north, because no one else is really going to request that. So I think there's a lot of value here. Assuming they don't want to, I would propose, if you would please go to the page before, I would propose, other page up, I would propose a slight modification. Again, we want this project to happen. We want to support our neighbors, and staying true to our true concern, which is the dense development, the pesticides going into the ground in a dense fashion, the sewer byproduct going into the ground for 100+ homes. I hope I could get some council support for what I'm proposing here, which would be modifying the red box to a 1 home per 2.5 acre density. I don't think it substantially affects their unit count. It might take out 5, I don't know if you've looked at that, 5 to 10 homes. And it would address my concerns personally. I don't know how the council feels though. So again, thank you for listening and taking the time to read. And I just wanted to explain my rationale for kind of the unusual step of putting forth a memo that contradicts the recommendation that came out of Planning Commission. Thank you.
Alderman Bach.
Yeah, this borders the 5th district, which is my district. And I remember us talking about that 2.5 acre when this first came up. I remember Alderman Stralczyk going back and forth. And so I do support that Alderman Parrish put forward. The question I have maybe for you, Kim, is that if something comes up in Uleo Creek, to be approved, and this development does not have water, does that affect that any development that comes up, does that set a precedent for development that may come up in Uleo Creek? Because what Alderman Parrish said, I thought that was correct, that, if something comes up in Uleo Creek, that they'd have to hook up to city water. Now, maybe I forgot something about that, but I remember discussing, so.
Yeah, if Director Lundin would like to come up and address that from a water utility perspective, I think that would probably be best.
The town of Grafton is outside of the Mequon Water Utility Service Area, so if we were going to consider any amendments, we would have to go to the PSC to request that our service area be expanded into another jurisdiction, similar to the process that we did with River Hills. Also similar to the process with River Hills, we'd have to go through the fiscal analysis to determine whether this lot of subdivisions can sustain the cost of the infrastructure that would go up the several miles of Port Washington Road on its own. Those would all be the same metrics that we would use to evaluate. To answer the rest of the question, the Uleo Creek neighborhood is in the Mequon Water Utility Service Area, so the default is all of those properties must connect to water, and the only way for them to get an exception would be to come before the Water Utility Commission to request a deferral, which is under your jurisdiction to make the decision to grant or deny.
Alderwoman Talaco.
I just had a couple comments. Is my biggest concern when this was first brought up was the natural resource of the river. I would be in favor of supporting something similar to Alderman Parrish as far as the 2.5 acre lot minimums, but I would say that it doesn't go far enough and that the whole riverside should be at least that, so that when the drainage and the septic isn't going directly and polluting the river. Also, I think that it was great that Mequon is using the Uleo Creek model as something to kind of justify, but it's also not apples to apples, which makes it a little bit more difficult to really set what should be done. But I think number one is preserving the natural habitat that we have worked so hard, all the cities have, as far as revitalizing the river, protecting it. And I have concerns with this much density without having sewer or water to allow this amount of homes to be built in this area.
I'll go next, sure. Many of you won't probably appreciate my opinion, but I'll share it nonetheless. Town of Grafton, I'm sure they're feeling the same pressures we all are with our budgets. And I'm pretty sure they're proposing this change to address some city budget issues and allow for some homes to be built to add to their tax base. I know we have joint extraterritorial control over this area, but when I think about the primary reasons for that, I think if Mequon were to have someone propose a manufacturing facility or maybe a 4 or 5 story apartment building like we see pop up in Grafton, maybe we'd have a stronger opinion on that. Single family homes, I don't think rise to that same level of concern. Certainly appreciate the points of view about creating some buffering to the south and maybe entertaining on that southern segment a density isn't quite as impactful as what was originally proposed, but to say this has to have public sewer and public water, I mean, it's about 2 miles, right? From where water is to where it would
Yes.
go. I mean, it's no one's gonna go for that. And when we did Uleo Creek, I think we envisioned it would grow progressively from the south to the north as people added lots. I don't think anyone envisioned one magic user to build all the water infrastructure all at once. I remember those conversations, and that was very much the nature of them. I mean, if someone wanted to, sure, but it just doesn't make economic sense. I think this is a good plan overall. I think we should find a way to approve something in concert with their original plan as presented here. And if, I don't mind the amendment to have a little more favorable density to the south to buffer Saddlebrook, but this isn't our land, it's someone else's land. And yes, we have control over it, but we should also be reasonable. This is adjacent to Mequon, but it's not Mequon, and it's single-family homes. It's not a highly intense manufacturing facility or some other crazy thing that could also be proposed. It's pretty reasonable. And with that, I'll be quiet and let the 8 people that are going to make the decision unless there's a tie, and then I'll weigh in again. Oh, are you an applicant?
I'm the applicant.
Okay, so that's okay.
Okay.
If you're the applicant, come up to the chairs, yeah. If you're just public, we have the public hearing already and that ship has sailed, but.
I'll introduce myself first. So my name is Brian Lindgren, the president of Newman Developments, with my attorney Matthew Krawcheck. Appreciate the feedback. I do. We've spent a lot of time on this, doing everything we can to balance different desires. What does the town want? What does the land seller want? What is consistent or inconsistent with the city of Mequon? And we've done plenty of developments within the city of Mequon as well. So this particular one is outside the border, but the feedback we got was we like the plan we made along Port Washington Road, the Oleo Creek zoning. I was here when that was being kind of crafted. It was a thought out plan that preserved buffer areas. So when the requests were made to preserve 30-foot buffers, to increase the open space to over 30%, we had no problem complying with those. That makes for a nice development. When the request was made to increase the buffer along Pioneer Road, we increased the buffer to 200 feet. The holding tanks were not a problem for us. We want people to have a reliable system. This is, that's the most common, type of system within rural development, and that's what this is. It's just too far away from any municipal services to be anything else. So these are all the things that we kind of took into consideration and felt that we met what was being asked of us all along the way. So we're excited about it. And, in the process of development, we're a green builder, we're a green developer. We've preserved as much acreage as we've developed. In this case, as far as water quality preservation for all the waterways that surround this, it's only going to get better. This is a farm field right now. There isn't a bigger contributor of silt and sediment and pesticides than farming, frankly. So when we start to incorporate stormwater management practices that are really quite strict, it's only going to get improved. So we know that there's a strong demand for this area for single-family homes on this size lot in a well thought out development. So we appreciate and took everything that was recommended to heart, incorporated, and we'd really like to move this forward. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other comments or feedback, potential motions? Alderman Bach.
Just to Alderman Parrish's request, what's your feeling on that? Could we make something happen with that on that southern section there with some homes that are a little, larger acreage?
We think that, as far as, we have, Town of Grafton, the market has the same concerns as City of Mequon. Infrastructure is expensive. People, we've seen the demand for smaller lots, frankly, in most cases. So because it is a manageable size, people like to enjoy this extra space in preservation areas. So the 30-foot buffer, the 200-foot buffer from Pioneer Road, the 30% open space, we feel that the market is really calling for that kind of preservation versus putting it in somebody's backyard or side yard or something like that. So we'd like to stick with the sizes we have.
Alderman Strelchak.
Hey, just circling back with Alderman Parrish's recommendations. I was on Planning Commission when this first came forward, and I was also the one that wanted to see at least 2.5 acres on that southern portion. So to get a yes vote from me, I'm going to need to see that. I'll probably vote to the contrary otherwise. Obviously Grafton, they're good neighbors, and we want to support them how we can, but we have some building standards and a 5-acre density subdivision just south of there. And my goal personally is to see some kind of a transition in there. The buffer's nice. I appreciate that being added in, and I'd like to see that be maintained, but I'd like to see those southern lots be larger.
Alderman Bach.
I'm going to say the same thing. If we could come up with something on that southern part, and you're going to get a yes vote from me, but otherwise it's going to be a no vote as well. I mean, I agree with everything that the mayor said, and I'm willing to compromise on all of that. But if there's something we could do there, then you'll get a yes vote from me. But otherwise, I'm going to be no.
Alderwoman Talaco, sorry.
I would put a motion ahead on the floor with the suggestion of the 2.5 acre lots on that southern section as outlined in Alderman Parrish's page 33 of the packet before the Common Council.
May I ask
Maintaining the buffers.
the significance of where it's marked out? I mean, I guess if we could go to,
Absolutely. We were trying to not impact your development too much. I would have liked to go more, to be honest. I would have liked to almost gone halfway up, but I found myself saying the same thing as the mayor, that this is Grafton's development. If I stay true to my real concern, it's the buffer. So, was there a second?
Second.
yeah.
All right. Thank you.
So we have a motion.
I think
and a second.
if I could request that be amended to the first 1,000-ish feet, I think that's a reasonable buffer. I think it's noteworthy that nobody from Saddlebrook came in to make a statement with the public hearing, so I don't feel like there's a lot of objection out there to this size lots.
Do you know what distance I'm showing on here? I don't.
I think it's more than that. I'm looking at the,
Yeah, you could perhaps scale it off the 200-foot buffer, so it,
kind of that first, the first corner.
Just to-
So it did, the area where the two cul-de-sacs are.
I guess
I'll
just
say
staying true to
that.
my other comments, if you look at the bottom left quarter, I mean, you're getting really close to sensitive lands again. So I don't think that my opinion would change as far as what I've drawn. I don't think the footage matters. And I plan on voting in favor of the motion when the roll is eventually called.
that notwithstanding, I actually agree with the applicant on this one. It's farmland now. You're worried about septic getting out into the river. This gets fertilized with manure a time or two a year. Sure it does.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, well, you're getting lots of other fertilizer and
Fertilizer, pesticides.
and pesticides, and you're getting silt and sediment. I mean, go drive by it. It's a bit of a dust bowl right now from the lack of rain. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further questions from the council? Yes, Mr. City Attorney.
I'll just pulling it up quick on GIS, 1,000 feet puts you, if you look at that kind of red marking there, 1,000 feet looks to be, I mean, it's hard to tell exactly from the map because the existing lots aren't really plotted real well there, but it looks to be just a little north of the right half of that, the red line at the top. So not the farthest one, but the one that's a little bit lower on the right-hand side.
No, it's just a little bit north of
Just a little bit north of that.
Kind of where it
That
jogs.
rectangular
There's a
shape
pinch
extended?
point there, is with the point I guess I should probably be trying to describe where it's going to be more challenging to. So the area, the wide area at the far south. I don't have a pointer.
I think the motion and second that are on the floor reflect the red polygon that's there. But if there's willingness to entertain 1,000 foot or whatever the lower rectangle extended, I don't know the right way to phrase it. That could be a potential amendment.
Just to
So
give you an
this,
idea.
this plan shows the updated concept plan. Updated concept plan, and it shows the 200-foot buffer. So based on the scaled map, I mean, I think you're getting close to this point at, if you're looking for 1,000 feet north, because this is 2, you're 4, 6, 8, about 1,000. So I think 1,000. I mean, if this is accurately represented at the 200-foot open space buffer, you're at that point anyway, at 1,000 feet.
The property line there that's, kind of has that big clump of trees. And there's a property line that's just south of it. That's 890 feet roughly.
That's what I would please request.
What number?
Where does that land for? I'll start looking at GIS.
Sure. So Kim, if you go just to the right of where you're at on the screen there, that property line that's on the south edge there.
Oh, here?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
The
right.
east-west
Yep,
property
that
line, right?
line basically, where she just was.
Yeah, I see it here. It's this dashed line right here.
Yeah, that's
Is what?
890.26 feet according to GIS.
So 1,000 square feet, 1,000 linear feet takes us to the treed gap.
Would be just a little bit north of that line.
So this point to Pioneer is 893?
Right.
So this is 893.
The extension of the lot line adjacent to it. So it'd be just basically we can make this really complicated and make an unusual shape, or you can just draw the line straight across.
I'm more comfortable with the 1,000 feet and going to the gap above where the tree line divides between lots 50 and 51. And that's what the applicant originally requested.
Okay, well,
So this is lot 50 for everybody's reference, and this is 51.
So it'd be the 51 south,
Well,
51 and
wherever,
11 south.
So you're in here.
if you're sticking with 1,000 feet, it's wherever 1,000 feet lands. I don't know, we don't have GIS up, we don't know,
yeah,
we can't be. My personal opinion, if you're willing to accept that, just draw the line straight across. You're
straight
within about
across,
100
or is
feet.
there a better, say 2.5 acre density in that southern area? I don't, yeah,
But the motion on the floor doesn't currently
yeah, it doesn't, it's not what it's.
contain that, so it would need to be amended. Someone would have to propose amending it, which anyone could do.
I don't wish to amend it.
Well, we know, you made the motion. Someone else could choose to entertain the amendment. We could see how it does on just the amendment. How many feet is that? Would that be? That was the 890 point whatever, 0.6 or whatever.
No, I mean, the motion itself is.
Oh, I know. Alderman Bach is asking if we were to entertain it, what would it be?
Drawing.
Approximately based off of,
Yeah, approximately 890 feet would be that.
so if you just drew the line straight across, to be 890-ish.
I'll make the motion for that for 890 square feet, so it's just kind of a line across.
Oh, you're making a motion for an amendment to the motion on the floor.
Yeah, amendment to
Okay.
that, so.
And you can't amend an amendment, so you need to actually deal with the motion to amend first.
Okay,
And
I
then make
I make a motion
subsequent
to
motion.
amend
Yep.
the 1,000 feet.
Yeah,
So if there is a seconder to that potential amendment, we can entertain just the amendment.
Nope,
Nope.
you can't do a motion to amend, a motion to amend. You have to deal with the motion to amend that's currently pending somehow.
Oh, because the
Vote
motion,
it up, vote it down.
because we have two motions to amend.
Correct.
And we can also vote to reconsider and come back to it.
Right. I mean, once you have the motion to amend, then you're back to the main motion as amended, and then you could amend it again to change
Unless
it.
the seconder wanted to remove their second to allow just the other amendment to be considered before,
I think he was the seconder.
I think that was Alderman Bratt, wasn't it?
That wasn't.
But, well, we have to follow Robert's rules, so I'm saying what would need to be done if we wanted to do it that way. I'm not saying anyone should do anything.
Just vote on the amendment, and then he can make another motion to amend it however he wants.
So we have a motion on the floor to approve with the amendment of the red shaded polygon on page whatever it is. Yep, is it page 33? Yeah, it's the concept plan as presented with the change that in that red area on page 33, it's should be 2.5 acre net density or 2.5 acre net density. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is any other discussion on that, or should we call the question?
And I guess just for clarity, since I'm doing it anyway, that line, meaning the property line in this picture, that's the one on the left side, that's the higher property line that makes the end part of the square. That is 1,334.94 feet back. So just to correct.
That was 1,300?
Yeah, the
Almost
top
1,400.
line would be almost 1,335 basically.
So that's the motion and second on the floor. We just did that, but we can go over it again. So the motion on the floor is to approve as presented on the updated concept plan with the amendment that the southern portion described by the red polygon on page 33 should be 2.5 acre net density. Is that correct? That's all included in the concept plan, so we don't need to add another provision. Yes.
It's that effectively is the result. The technical motion is so we have a motion to actually no. Your motion, Madam Clerk, what do you have as the main motion?
The southern section would be 2.5 acres as depicted on page 33 of the packet, the map on page 33.
Okay.
Yeah,
While
which is
maintaining the buffer.
depicted, that's why I said it was depicted in the updated concept plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So the updated concept plan on page 29 with the amendment of the red polygon being 2.5 acres on page 33.
right. So a little bit unclear in terms of the motion. Alderwoman Talako, your motion is to approve with the change of 2.5 to the south. Okay. In light of that, Alderman Bach, if you wish to make a motion to amend, you could amend that motion. She was talking about amendments, and I was not paying attention to the fact that there wasn't a main motion before that had been made. She had made a motion to amend, which we've just clarified included to approve with that amendment. So you could make.
Was that motion for an amendment, or was that motion for an approval with an
That was
amendment?
for approval with an amendment.
Okay,
A little bit messy, but we'll
Okay.
get there.
so where are we now? So we
So you have currently a motion to amend as presented, with the exception that the southern portion that's highlighted in the red on that exhibit would be 2.5 acre density.
And we are or are not able to entertain.
You can because that is the main motion. You could make a motion to amend that motion
Okay,
based on that.
so your motion is still valid?
So
Okay.
my motion after listening to this is that whatever that mark is, that, I don't know how many feet that is, but I'm making the motion, so let's just say that was 890.
890-ish, whatever that line is
890-ish.
extended to the west.
Yes, I think that,
Consistent with the east-west property line through
that
the trees.
provides, plenty of buffer space on Pioneer Road. So that's my motion to amend 890-ish.
So that's the motion to amend the prior motion with an amendment.
Correct.
Is there someone willing to second Alderman Bach's proposed amendment for the sake of taking up the discussion to see if it will carry?
I'll second it.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. So on only the, you don't have to laugh at me. This is hard work here. I'll try not to break Robert's rules. On only the amendment to reconsider or to consider the 2.5 acres to be the 890-ish feet, which is a property line extended on the right half of the red shaded area. Yeah, basically. This line, yeah, basically that. It's easier to point than to say.
Thank you.
South of that.
So on that amendment only, not approving the whole thing, but on that amendment only, please call the roll.
Alderman Talaco? No. Alderman Meyer? Aye. Alderman Hancher?
No.
Alderman Bach?
Aye.
Alderman Parrish?
No.
Alderman Bratt?
No.
Alderman Gebhardt?
Aye.
Alderman Stralcheck?
No.
5
Doesn't
noes.
carry 5-3. Okay, so I guess we have our answer on that one. We have the main motion with the amendment that we've clarified a couple of times. Anyone need to run it past us again? Okay, if we're all clear and there's no more discussion, going once, going twice, we will call the vote on the motion as amended. I'm not going to say it all over again. We know what it is.
Okay.
Please call the roll.
Alderman Meyer? Alderman Hancher?
Aye.
Alderman Bach?
Aye.
Alderman Parrish?
Aye.
Alderman Bratt?
Aye.
Alderman Gebhardt?
No.
Alderman Stralcheck?
Aye.
Alderman Talaco?
All right. I'm not sure where that leaves you, but that's the
I guess we'll have to determine.
that's the vote. Yep.
Yeah.
Best
Thank
of
you.
luck. Thank you. We're now on to personal appearances and public comments. Citizens wishing to address the council on any matter not on the agenda may do so at this time. If you desire to be heard on any agenda items, you may be heard when that item is considered on the agenda. Please speak into the microphone at the podium. Time limit is 5 minutes. Is there anyone here tonight who wishes to speak on any item not on the agenda? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to public officials' reports. I don't have anything this evening. How about you, Administrator Jones?
Mayor and members of the council, no report tonight. Thank you.
All right. Moving swiftly to the consent agenda, we have 7 boards and minutes from boards and commissions, the comprehensive financial annual report, and a resolution. Is there any motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent agenda carries. We do have one ordinance first reading. Ordinance 2026-1693, an ordinance creating section 46-4 of the Mequon Municipal Code related to regulation of camping within the city. This is recommended by Public Safety Committee on May 12th and is a first reading. We have no regularly scheduled ordinances that we haven't already discussed in public hearing, and we have a handful of resolutions. The first of which is Resolution 4293, a resolution approving the following items. A land lease for $1 annually to the Thiensville Mequon Rotary Foundation for the construction of the Rotary Park Playground until June 1st, 2028. And B, a development and donation agreement with the Thiensville Mequon Rotary Foundation for an all-user inclusive playground at Rotary Park. This was recommended earlier this evening by the Committee of the Whole.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any lingering comments or questions or salutations? Alderman Stralcheck.
Yeah, it's in my district, so I'm going to give kudos to Rotary for everything they're doing. If anyone wants to see what the rest of the council said in the committee of the whole, we really did discuss this thoroughly. Each alderperson did thank them specifically for their vision. I'd like to just go on record as saying this park is absolutely gorgeous. A lot of consideration went into this. This park's been a great addition to the activity and the interaction of our community. It's benefited all residents within the city of Mequon as well as brought people to the community. And I think that this park is the next step in that. And it's a huge addition for the city of Mequon and District 1. And I just wanted to just personally say thank you for the investment in the district and the community. Much appreciated.
All right. Any other words of praise? I mean, we could go on all night. We have the time to do it, but yes, thank you indeed. This is going to be a wonderful addition to an already great park. It's kind of the crown jewel park of Mequon, so it's going to be all the better once this project's done. With that said, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations. Look forward to seeing the finished result. On to Resolution 4294, a resolution awarding the contract for the Mequon Commons Phase 1 Design and Development Plan to Williams Architects of North Bay, Wisconsin in the amount of well, I guess that amount changed, didn't it? It's $180,325, but it was amended minus 5% on the contingency. So whatever that new dollar amount is, it'll be slightly less. So recommended by Committee of the Whole with the amendment to change the project contingency from 15% to 10%. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Alderman Hancher,
Aye.
Alderman Bach,
Aye.
Alderman Parrish,
Aye.
Alderman Bratt,
Aye.
Alderman Gebhardt,
Aye.
Alderman Stralcheck,
Aye.
Alderman Telako, and Alderman Meyer.
That carries on to Resolution 4295, a resolution approving an amendment to a license agreement with T-Mobile Central LLC, extending the term for cellular equipment located at the city water tower at 10817 North Industrial Drive through 2055. This was tabled at the Committee of the Whole. Do we need to table it again here?
Make a motion to table.
Sorry, Finance Personnel, correct. Tabled it, Finance and Personnel. Do we need to table it again? Okay.
So the motion was made to table.
Is that a motion to table?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to table. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This item will remain tabled until we bring it back in the future. Resolution 4296, a resolution approving a professional services agreement for the acquisition and installation of replacement server for the Mequon Police Department with Heartland Business Systems of Pewaukee, Wisconsin, in the amount of $38,420. This was recommended earlier this evening by Finance and Personnel.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second. Any questions, discussion? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Alderman Bach,
Aye.
Alderman Parrish,
Aye.
Alderman Bratt,
Aye.
Alderman Gebhardt,
Aye.
Alderman Stralcheck,
Aye.
Alderman Telako, Alderman Meyer, and Alderman Hancher.
Aye.
That item carries as well. We have one last item this evening that needs our vote. Resolution 4297, a resolution authorizing staff to file the City of Mequon's Compliance Maintenance Annual Report for calendar year 2025 in accordance with requirements under Wisconsin Administrative Code NR 208. This was recommended earlier this evening by the Sewer Utility District Commission. Is there a recommendation from the council?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item carries as well. We have no specified unfinished business from prior meetings, no specified new business. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned.